Monster kill!
Battle begins.
From the Mars, lots of physical damage that's going to be amped up, so we could potentially see Amar playing that kind of carry role as well from the offlane, while BZM maybe more of a place like fast style with that blink Yules BKB like the panel was saying.
And overall as well, you know, Mono bringing the troll in this game, of course, having excellent backup in the form of PQ being on the Dazzle. We've seen PQ consistently on these heroes that provide such saves. Be insane, his positioning is always on point. How do you sort of feel that Troll's going to be able to slip into this game? Because we've had a few patches where Troll's been out of favor, but some changes, a little bit of a buff or so, and he's back in here for Aster.
Yeah, he definitely still feels like a pretty strong hero for them, and especially when you have Dazzle, that extra thing that always able to give you extra save, but also versus Omni Knight, a pretty cool interaction, of course. We've seen it, I think, this tournament. The Aghanim is spilled on the Troll Warlord, being able to dispel things
Already
off.
some early action here, Baboka with the toss back on Chu. He should be able to buff himself up. Baboka, the one to fall low first, as OG, they'll try and chase him down. PQ coming in with some body blocks for PZM. He's able to get in range and get that first blood here for the mid Shadow Fiend.
There's some long-range auto attacks coming out from OG.
A huge shot there for BZM on this SF, of course. That'll mean he can get that bottle out incredibly quick.
An important one, too, because he doesn't actually end up winning the block in mid, which can be one of the more devastating things in that Quap versus SF matchup. So him getting first blood's probably going to offset a lot of that. See how Ori's able to handle that extra regen that BZM is going to have.
We'll see how well he's able to play here with the Razors, of course. Nice little bit of a buff to the Razors, right, in terms of additional sort of level of control it offers.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of things, of course, the Queen of Pain, the turn rate can be a bit annoying, some things like that, but overall, this is a pretty good lane now for this Quap. If he just puts levels into the daggers, it does apply a ton of pressure. But like we said, BZM, early bottle, should be able to offset a lot of that harass. And looking at the other lanes, Troll should be able to farm really well. Monet, he has the luxury of always being able to secure the range creep, of course, with Whirling Axes, and it is versus double melee as a Troll Dazzle lane, so quite strong.
Absolutely, yeah, we'll see how well Monet's able to harass the two. You know, the last series that Aster played, Monet's farm, insane, sort of from start to finish. This man, he never lets go of that top spot.
Yeah, and I'm curious if, I think we probably will see that Aghanim build up, but I'm curious when we do see it, because versus that Omni, versus Guardian Angel, versus Heavenly Grace, it's kind of one of those obvious picks. Even versus Willow, dispelling yourself, all these kind of things, it's really strong.
And overall, how do you sort of rate the measures that Aster's going to have to be able to deal with Yuragi down the line? There's Bristle Pick coming in later in the draft. The potential to be very strong and of course, buffed up incredibly by the Omni Knight in the mid-game fights.
I mean, maybe that Heavenly Grace is going to be enough to protect, but there's always the Midnight Pulse, like this damage that comes in from the Enigma that's going to get better and better as game progresses. Also, Dazzle, slight little minus armor that builds up. Troll isn't really that bad of a matchup versus Bristle. He's going to have a pretty okay time sticking onto him.
So far in the CS, a bit of a lead here in the mid for BZM, 10 for 4 against the 6 for 4. That was that first blood and early bottle timing, definitely giving that extra ability to spam out the waves.
Ori, they're playing actually, Ori's playing this mid lane so smart. He was standing on the hill of BZM to make sure he blocks the runes away.
He's going to have to force BZM to TP over, but it doesn't mean BZM will be able to get down towards rune on the other side. No other movements coming from the supports quite yet this early towards mid.
Yeah, it was really smart, actually. We didn't get to see it, but he was literally playing on the hill, watching BZM. He was dancing between both the runes, just waiting to blink right in front of him. So a nice play from Ori, even though we do see, like you said, BZM ahead in the lane because of that early bottle and first blood. But mid, Baboka's actually coming in.
He's coming, but he will be spotted by the tower, and of course the high ground vision here up on the cliff, so no chance of catching BZM by surprise.
That's preparation. You know, OG, they've watched Aster play this kind of similar draft so much, the Tiny Enigma. Baboka very active on his Tiny, so putting that defensive ward early, knowing that he's going to make the rotation. Nicely done.
Now, overall, Baboka's movements been completely on point in the games that he has been able to get the Tiny through. He's always the one that's able to find that catch to start the fight, so you've got to be super aware of him.
Okay, he doesn't give up all the Eidolons, but he has to be very careful. That's why they picked this Bristle matchup, just to be able to clear out those Eidolons in lane versus the Enigma at all times. Success, he might lose him this time. We'll deny one. He doesn't lose all the Eidolons, though, quickly, so they were just pretty much resummoned, and Yuragi cleans them out quick.
Yeah, both carries off to a fantastic start. Yuragi and Monet barely missing a creep. So far, neither offlane duo really able to do anything to threaten the carries. I mean, most of that down And to the excellent support back up bottom, very hard to make a move onto this troll, as there's always the threat of the troll and the dazzle being able to run you down.
Can he get the range?
He's going to be able to get him close to the tower. Malefice will keep him contained for a few hits, and Midnight Pulse down. That's a lot of damage, not quite enough. Of course, with that Ring of Hell for Yuragi, we'll be able to slowly heal up. And in fact, Tiger, he's going to be able to throw him over a salve as well, just to make sure that Yuragi stays in a healthy position.
It's a constant thing we see, right? The tossbacks under tower. That's why this combo is picked so often.
Ori, he's got a TP out of this one. There's BZM in range to start getting the raises going.
He just keeps literally blinking onto his face to try to take away the runes. But yeah, still seeing BZM doing excellent in the matchup, but Ori is starting to offset that, even though that bottle was there so early.
Boca have another bit of a go towards the mid. Of course, that ward's still standing. So BZM fully aware, and backup will be coming in as well for BZM Tiger, making sure that Boca doesn't get any chance to close in on the mid SF.
Still annoying pressure plays that Baboka's doing with these little type of
he
movements.
knows now.
He knows.
A couple of times.
Will he get it? Oh, it was just
that
about
was
to
close.
time
That
out.
nearly timed out there. But indeed, we'll be able to get the bounty from taking it down.
And BZM constantly is sitting low, so it's always these nice movements that you do see coming out from the Tiny to kind of keep BZM very afraid of stepping up. Has some help now, the Dispel, that's going to help quite a lot. Baboka in the area, but with that Heavenly Grace on, he's thinking against going for the play. Maybe now.
Might still get a chance for a toss back.
The Grace is gone.
He's going to be able to get him over towards Ori. Chu trying to head in to help out. BZM has got the boots, so a decent amount of move speed to run away, and with the spells already used, no further lockdown. He's more than fine. He's able to walk it off.
A nice try.
And top lane. Pressure coming out from Yuragi. The stack's building up onto XXS.
Oh, he's zoning him off the wave, though, and that's a catapult wave. Yeah, he knows.
That's
Look
some
at
good
that.
damage onto the tower here.
Really knows.
Aster's going to have to bring in a +1 if they want to try and force this Bristle
mana.
back.
There's no mana on Baboka, but he's just going to walk up and take the experience at the very least while his Enigma is getting zoned out. Really smart move there from Yuragi.
And this is the thing right with the Bristle. At this stage of the game, when Yuragi's sort of playing like this, what hero do you really move over to be able to threaten a Bristle at this point?
Nobody. That's why they went for this pick, right? Yeah. Versus the Enigma, he gets absolute free farm. So yeah, he's going to be something they're going to have to deal with later on with either QoP rotations or if they start building up toward like some earn charges and % damage from XXS. We do now see Chu taking the mid lane. They're going to send BZM to the jungle. No stacks, but either way, looks like he doesn't really want to lane versus Ori much more anymore. The constant spam is keeping the Shadow Fiend very low HP.
I mean, would you consider there being a bit of a window once XXS gets the level 6, has the Black Hole to get some extra members in to try and deal with Bristle, or even in the caught in the Black Hole in the Midnight Pulse, do you think they're not taking him down?
I think they'll be able to bring him down. They'll have to bring probably 3 heroes total, though, at the very least, to try to do it, but we'll see if they even want to do that. Because Yuragi, it's like, that's kind of space that he makes if he does do that, forcing so many heroes to make a play onto him. But he's playing very far up, and here comes the TP, so...
Let's see. Ori's going to make the move over with Baboka as well. Be able to get him back under the tower. See Yuragi turn, trying to do as much damage as he can to XXS. They've got the pure damage of the Sonic Wave, and that will get the job done. They take him out.
Beautifully done. Bringing the 3 heroes, and blinks in front of him to get the Sonic Wave in his face. Perfectly done there from Ori. And that's pre-Black Hole, so now XXS for the next situation. We'll have Black Hole if they want to do it again. NES earn charges. Big move.
I will imagine Yuragi will still return to that top lane. Definitely having to be a bit aware of Ori. We'll see again that move, as you say, bringing just enough to be able to deal with the Bristle and showing that indeed that first Sonic Wave usage from Ori comes in at exactly the right place at the right time, being used to slow down Yuragi, who's been having a completely free start so far.
So slowing down the Bristleback, very important. You see Monet absolutely at the top of the net with 600 against his counterpart, so that's going to be really important for him for that matchup. So he's going to be able to actually shred through him. And he's going to go Maelstrom first, so that mixed damage, at least versus the Omni Knight. Chu does not get the ensnare.
Doesn't want to run the risk of chasing into the triangle. See back over towards the river. Baboka coming in with some body blocks onto BZM. Tiger will do his best to help out. The 3 of them look to run him down. The poison touch is in. BZM falling low. Is there any help at done? Chu with a purification and the Heavenly Grace keeps BZM buffed up and enables him to walk back to the safety of his tier 1.
They're having to put so much attention to make sure that BZM doesn't die, though. Ori is really applying so much pressure as the solo Queen of Pain. Haste Rune now, too. They have to keep both supports in the area. Their offlaner and their safe lane doesn't really need the help, though, but they're having to spend so many resources to just protect this Shadow Fiend.
Top net worth still very closely contested, despite that death on Yuragi. Him and Monet pretty much matched in farm so far.
XXS hasn't died though, which I think is really, I mean, both offlaners important to say, but XXS when he's picked, they completely counterpicked him, right? With his bristleback lane. He's level 7, like top 4 net worth, still having a great time. And we've seen what he's been able to do as this Enigma multiple times this tournament when he gets this type of start. No BKB disables on the side of OG. So once he gets to those points later on, of course, too, you know that Aster's going to have some great advantage in the later stages.
We've seen how effective XXS has been multiple times with the black holes that he uses. They're always perfectly done.
So there's not that much that can disable him, really. It's the Mars and the Willow, but the Willow is actually just the fear. So, yeah, pretty easy game, I would say, for Aster, for XXS at least, to set up a lot of these black holes. Going to be difficult. Taiga has to be in position every time to stop it. Unless they itemize, of course, like we were mentioning. The Yules for BZM maybe going to be the pickup. He's going for this. He's actually going for bots first.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see where he goes beyond that as well, right? With an SF nowadays, how are you going to be looking to build it?
I think it is just the Spellcaster build, as we were mentioning, the Blink, BKB, Yules, and stuff like that, because then he can just try to burst down one of those targets. And if he does that, it actually forces the black hole on him every time, because they have no other BKB piercing disable. I guess they have a snare, but we won't count that.
Yeah, of course, great team fight combo between the Fear of the Requiem and the Arena of Amar. Huge amounts of team fight control if OG's able to land the combos.
Yeah, they've got the double, right? Two different fears that they can output. But very low level supports, Taiga level 3. Does get the book coming out, but they're going to have to give him some space in the mid lane at the moment.
A very controlled start here from both teams. 10 minutes in, 1-1. Little to if any mistakes being made by either side so far. Very calculated here in their movements.
Pretty much everyone just playing their lanes, except for Baboka, who's moving around a lot, just constantly trying to pressure that Shadow Fiend. That's dead even. Exactly what you could ask for your grand finals.
Absolutely, and no way to really tell which direction this is going to explode in once the fights start.
Important thing to point out, though, is the stacks. Looking at Taiga, he's been prepping them over and over again, so a pretty massive one that's going to be set up for that bristle timing. Does get that.
Won't quite be able to get the Ancients stacked again, but still a juicy amount of farm. Ready for the taking then. Indeed, as you can see, already 7 done this game. He's getting a lot. And yeah, BZM after the bots, looking for the Blink Dagger. To be that first way to get himself in position and find the opportunities for the big Requiems.
I guess he can also stop the black hole early on. So a little bit of things that he can also do with the fun fear that comes down. Here we go. Ancients time. Not a really easy way for Aster to contest over here. Kind of suicide if they actually did. They walk over here, the Mars walks over, and then it's just easy fight for OG. So they're just continuing to play their lanes. They probably know that these stacks are going on, but yeah, not worth trying to contest.
This will allow, you would imagine, XXS to start putting some pressure onto the top tier 1. We already see from OG down bottom, Amar pushing in with the siege creep, but Monet will hang around the lane to try and hold onto this tower as long as he can.
Some good damage, though. I mean, wow, this tower is already down to less than a 3rd HP bottom.
I mean, they're looking for an opportunity to fight with the ultimate here, Amar. And he's going to go for it. He's going to get the setup on a PQ. Quick Shallow Grave comes out. Monet, of course, being held outside of the arena without the hit in the back. Ori jumps in with the screen, turns towards Amar. Amar being bumped up by the Heavenly Grace of Chu. They're not even going to be able to get PQ.
Oh,
PQ is still alive. We'll see rotation from BZM turning with the razors over towards Monet with a Sonic Wave. Pushing them back means that OG, they cannot get any kills out of this. They will also stay all alive themselves. See if Aster's able to get a jump back in on this, but looks like the Sustainer chews too much.
Oh, and every little thing. PQ, the Grave, the Fairy Fire, the stick, he hits 6.
I mean, OG's ready to go back in though.
Oh, wow.
Monet. He's been caught by the razors here. One more from BZM could do it. He has got the ult, and Monet will look to turn. He has to pop it. It's his only chance to have any sort of fighting chance. It has been pushed into the side, but he's able to lifesteal off the creeps. That might just save the success. He's in with the black hole under the 2 of them. Catches Jude, catches BZM. Monet, he's able to walk away.
Every little thing coming into play. The heals from PQ, resetting him a little bit, then he runs away, gets the trance off.
I mean, I know ATMs are supposed to give you money, but that's exactly what happened there. Gives it straight back to Aster. He's able to walk it off.
Oof, and Amar knows. He says the sorry, tries to get the spear to latch, but it actually just harms so much.
We'll see it again here. Trying to get an angle to catch Monet, but as it was, pushes him far enough away from his team. A little bit of lifesteal off the creep as well as the ult comes to an end, and they just weren't ready for XXS.
Oh my god. That's just such a crazy series of events because of like the Dazzle surviving the initial initiation. He hits 6, he gets these little extra heals onto the Troll to survive. Love when you see those type of little things make such a big difference in the early game. And that's the Blink reveal, of course, too, for XXS.
That's a huge one. Doesn't get much better than that from him.
No, it does not.
For these early game black holes.
Yuragi still, of course, incredibly
This
farmed.
Bristol's going to be huge. He's going to have an excellent timing on the Aghanims.
But a big hit, really. That was like OG's first real aggressive move, and it gets countered quite heavily. They still do get the tower, but
Baboka, little jump with the Tumbler's toy. Takes him out of the arena, and he'll be away.
that's a big cooldown. It was an Arcane Rune, so 55 seconds till we'll be back up, but nice move from Baboka.
See if they might be able to still get Baboka here. Once again, another bounce with the Tumblers. And Yuragi and Shu, they won't have the catch for this. So Baboka, free to just watch them. Keep an eye on the progress that Yuragi is making. And we'll see that Axe will be done very shortly.
They're starting to swing over. Yeah, Chu just has to stay right next to Yuragi when he's playing this aggressively. Less than 1k lead right now for OG, but you'd expect them to actually be more ahead because of these stacks that happen. Like Aster, I think that they're in actually such a good position in this game because of that. Like having this pretty much even net worth right now after the laning phase is pretty amazing for them for this Enigma lineup. Oop, PQ.
Amar.
He's got the ult back up because of that Arcane Rune.
I mean, you know, the PQ's relatively alone, so fair enough there. Drops the ult, secures the kill. And why not in a game? 15 minutes, only 3 for 2. You drop your ult every time for a kill like that.
No, absolutely. And yeah, that's literally because the Arcane Rune that happened earlier.
Yep.
Sure, he whiffed it, but then the faster cooldown.
And quick moves as well. Maybe catching Aster off guard where they might not expect to jump whilst the arena's just been used. Smoke up from OG. Has been scanned out, though.
Yep.
Aster, they read OG and they know that it's likely that they will try and catch them by surprise, and it's not going to happen.
Nice attempt from OG, just trying to take advantage of Dazzle being dead, Black Hole being on cooldown. Can't find it though, so Black Hole back up in 20 seconds. Aster gonna look to recontrol, and since the scan was successful, they're gonna look for a ward that was maybe placed as Taiga.
See if we can buy some time with the Shadow Realm and see if OG want to fight this. BZM and Chu, they're watching from the side. Curse Crown will kick in Tiger, pushing back Baboka with the fear, they'll take him out. Azori caught in the bramble, but not by the spear, he'll be fine. OG sees the opportunity to group up and take the fight head on there. Getting a kill and looking for the tier 1 mid. The full Aghanims, it's on its way out for Yuragi.
Yep, it's time. And is that max level? Yep, it's max Heavenly Grace as well too, so pretty massive. It's going to be pretty impossible for them to kill him, and they have no way to actually remove it just yet. They might be able to even like try to force like Roshan and stuff. Like right now into Black Hole, maybe not. Maybe want to look to just continue to get some type of more control of the map, but the threat of Rosh is definitely there. BZM pretty far up bottom. Extremely far, actually.
They're going to definitely go for that jump. Baboka and Ori waiting in the tree line. His TP's on cooldown, and even if it was up, there's no way to get away from this too. BZM.
That's a very weird death, to be honest. Very far forward by himself. Quick moves from Aster, though, being able to find that Baboka halfway toward his Blink Dagger. Who got the last hit also? It was Ori. Okay, an important last hit too, because he is falling slightly behind those cores.
That's a great farm for Monet, pushing him towards that BKB beyond the Maelstrom. Once he's got that, fully able to just commit in these fights, and only have to really worry about the physical that will build up from Yuragi, but outside of that, he can get on top of his target. If he closes in and gets on top of BZM with his ultimate, Shadow Fiend's not going to stand too much of a chance of surviving.
No, they're going to actually hit a pretty even timing on the side of Aster. Their triple BKBs are probably going to hit all at the same time. Looks like Ori's might be slightly delayed, but X success, his is nearly done. Same thing for Monet. So I think as soon as they have those, that's probably when you're going to see the speed of the game really ramp up. Because this is one of the quieter games we've actually had.
It really is. 17 minutes, 4-3. But I tell you what, it's not been bad. You know, there's been some great moves from both teams. Very much showing that they're bringing their A game here for the grand finals.
And now we see Taiga. He has a Veil finished up, and now they're going to start posing this Roche threat themselves. BZM, BKB done. Same thing for Amar. So they actually have the faster timing here for their BKB timings in comparison. But they are playing into Black Hole, so have to be careful.
Just a little bit of a usage here with the smoke, keeping OG able to hover around the pit.
Amar, look where he's sitting.
And Amar, ready to lead in. They know that Baboka's got his eye on them.
Dying.
They'll have to make a move soon, Aster, if they want to put a stop to this, but they're not going to be able to get in. Yuragi, he'll secure the Aegis. So very much ready to start barreling down these lanes and looking for some fights now. With its full Aghanims, the Aegis on the bristle, OG, they're hitting a very strong point.
Yeah, it's time for them to try to control the map a little bit more because, yeah, they still, they got Aegis, but it's not like they're not far ahead almost at all. Like, Aster, it's still a very even game, and when they have these BKB timings, like I said, I think they're still going to be able to look for these fights versus OG. They're just going to have to kite the bristle, try to kill the backlines, take control of the Omni Knight in particular, and then kite the bristle in the fights.
We'll see again, this time BZM pushing pretty far out the lane, but he's got the backup. Chu right by his side in case Aster do make the jump on him, and as it were, he pushes through that last wave and backs off. Doesn't want to run the risk of stepping into a fight with Aster. He's sticking around for the small camp, but he's just really feeling strong that Chu's in the neighborhood here.
Boca trying to get initiation without the blink dagger.
He was very close to maybe being able to separate the two of them, but BZM has got a haste. So he'll turn and start to build up the raises on Baboka. PQ at the ready when required. Amar, maybe he can find the jump towards the Dazzle. The Grave being used early. And a spear from Amar will ensure that there's no TP out available for Baboka.
And there you see the new Shadow Raises coming into play, right? That slow that it applies. The Tiny actually could not run away whatsoever.
I mean,
pretty
OG,
cool.
they're looking to see if they can get further catch here. Amar still has the arena available. If he
He's
can
fast.
close in and catch PQ, it should be another grab for OG.
Next phase boot, is he going to commit it?
He's going to drop it.
Ooh.
Does miss the spear, but there's no Grave, of course, still on cooldown here on the early level, so PQ will still fall. OG, they lead the charge, they'll take 2 kills, and by the looks of it, they'll take a tower as well.
They know they have to play fast, because I think they do also feel that they're playing versus this Enigma, the Blink BKB, without any way to stop it. They do have to try to control the map and get a bigger net worth advantage on the side of OG.
I mean, the next fight when XXS decides to turn up, he's just going to be such a threat for OG with this Blink BKB. He is ready to go. OG's positioning, it has to be perfect. If XXS finds the opportunity to jump in, the fight is just going to be disrupted massively.
Absolutely. And he's been, like we said, so clutch this entire tournament on this hero, so yeah, always eyes on him. And we said, OG still looking to play fast, take advantage of this Aegis, looking to dominate the map, try to prevent Aster from getting this farm. Swinging across with the smoke.
Heading in the direction of Ori. Ori did jump up into the high ground. Sonic Wave to put a stop to the fear. Still with the Bramble. That'll be the setup that Tiger has to catch out Ori and get the kill secured.
A very aggressive play by Ori punished. Tiger, time and time again, this tournament himself too. Baiting people, it feels like, as this Willow. 3-0-2. Perfect control. Iragi now playing extremely aggressive, knowing the Queen of Pain is dead.
Still 2 minutes on the Aegis. He's got very little to fear right now, Iragi. The rest of OG smoked up behind him, just in case Aster do try and take a fight into this. Unlikely, of course, considering the state of the Aegis.
It's smart, fast plays, though. Just continuing the map dominance. It's these quick, fast smoke rotations to just to swing across the map.
Look at this. We'll see how good of a read Monet has. He probably will TP out, knowing that this kind of movement's likely.
He's going as far north as possible.
We'll see if he risks hanging around. He's
The
been
scan.
scanned. They know he's there. Has got BKB TP. And
He's gonna
he'll
have
opt
to.
for it. And of course, between these heroes, nothing to put a stop to that. So Monet's fine.
Do they have any smokes left on OG? Now the BKB is on cooldown. I don't think they do. I think they just used like all 3 in the last few seconds. So
We see here as well, of course, Aster didn't quite see the whole of OG reveal, so smoked up themselves, maybe seeing if they could find an opportunity to catch one of OG's members out alone bottom. As it is, OG playing pretty tight as a group.
trying to play around Ori for the next few seconds also. Just ensure that he can finish the BKB after he did die last moment. And he will have it done. So 1, 2 BKBs, 3 BKBs ready for Aster. On the side OG, as we said, they do have the 2 BKBs done. And the blink now from EZM too, so he can initiate easier onto backlines. That fear is no joke, so really important to point out is just how big the Requiem fear is really going to be. So
Massive as a whole screen.
yeah, and I'm going to be watching PQ because it's really hard to play a lot of these saving heroes when you are playing versus the Blink Shadow Fiends who blink into the middle of the fight and just separate you completely. So it's a lot of hard tasks really
Absolutely.
for PQ.
And that's why we see the build that, of course, he's going for here. The Ether Lens, the Blink, he has to have everything to make sure he can sit right back and still be able to offer up his support.
I mean, that would be so cool if we do see this kind of play come out where he gets his Blink Dagger and he sees the Requiem
So
fear
he jumps
and he
over it.
blinks over it.
Yes,
Exactly. I think that's kind of the style maybe he's looking for. Or, you know, you see the Mars running at you, and I don't think Amar does have a Blink Dagger, so he always has the read of when the arena is going to get dropped, so he can blink out of it and stuff like that, because a couple times he's been caught in it, so could be a cool pickup. I actually really do like it if he's able to get there.
Aster grouped up here. Maybe he's looking to set up for a smoke. They will. They have all the ultimates at the ready.
BKB's all ready too.
What's the timing of the Aegis looking like? It's gone.
It's
Just
gone.
comes to an end. So Aster timing this perfectly around that that Aegis expiration.
And we do see the blink on Baboka was finished up, and Monet, as we mentioned, very likely he's going to go for Ags, so he's got that next. He's got one of the components finished. He does need it versus the Omni Knight.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Omni Knight. Blink Dagger done on Chu, so.
Good timing, honestly. Like, he's so quiet. You know, Omni Knight doesn't farm or anything like that, but yeah, getting it at this point in the game. 0, 1, and 2. Such a quiet game, but still finding some space on the map to get the farm.
Able to find the opportunity they would hope for with that smoke Aster. Start to split back up a little bit and might give a chance for OG to get the jump themselves. So Uragi leading the way with a full halberd done. And another way to really mess with the damage output that Mone's going to try and deal in these team fights.
Oh, delicious idlers.
Aster, you can really feel it. They really want to fight.
I think they probably feel like they're getting a bit out-farmed on the map, so they definitely want to try to find something here.
Certainly showing in the gold. 7K lead hovering around here for OG, with how much Uragi and BZM are able to stay at the top.
Standard OG, right? Farming incredibly hard on the 3 cores. Even Taiga trying to find any type of space.
And Amar, of course, just building up this gold so he can just straight up buy the Aghanim Scepter. And the build that we've seen him have great success with.
Not versus that like typical ranged carry or anything like that, but still, we saw how much damage he was able to actually apply, just becoming that 3rd carry. And with the Requiem, or sorry, with the presence of the Dark Lord, with the Viscous Nasal Glue, like we said before, his damage is not going to be very low.
You've got this AoE armor reduction coming out from the Bristle, and you're following up with this huge area that you're just dealing these right clicks. Definitely means that if Aster don't find the jump, find the team fight control, you know, if OG somehow is able to mess with the black hole in a team fight from XXS, definitely a large chance that Amar will be able to have the superior amount of impact in the team fight.
Now, how about when there's 2 BKB black holes? Because it's going to start building to this point. Aster is still going to keep getting tons of farm on the map too on this Enigma.
Definitely, sort of overall in terms of how impactful a spell and a hero can be, sort of the slow down in kills, you've only got to sort of look towards XXS, and indeed, as you say, if he gets the chance to play with 2 rounds of his spells and items, you know, there's not many players in the world that can deal with that.
No, not when they don't have any BKB piercing disables. BZM, though, is getting a lot of farm, and he only has died twice this game, so he's actually going to have this timing on his Arcane Blink that's really nice. So he can actually act as this pseudo-initiator in a way and just disrupt the fights before the BKBs or anything go off. I'm actually surprised that he's only died 2 times this game, so finding tons of farm on the map. That's the one problem with Shadow Fiend a lot of times, is you're just very susceptible to just dying, but he has gotten a lot of help, right? Chu always being behind him to bail him out of some situations with Heavenly Grace. So he's going to have this very good timing on Arcane Blink BKB.
I mean, and do you sort of imagine overall that the feel from OG is that they have this lead, so they don't feel under pressure? Like, who are we going to see try and step this up? Because still 26 minutes in, 4-6. This is probably going to be the lowest kill game at this point in the whole tournament.
I think both teams probably feel like they have the late game, because OG always kind of builds this like style of this triple core that's always going to be able to contest in later stages. But Aster's, as we keep saying, no BKB piercing for Black Hole. There's a Troll that can have these good matchups as he gets bigger and bigger too. So.
And so, you know, talking about Monet on the Troll, it's got that Aghanim's done. So what sort of the big spells this is going to interact with in the team fight that we've got to watch out for?
Heavenly Grace, Guardian Angel, and the Willow spells in particular would be kind of the big ones.
Aster.
I mean, even actually, just, I mean, it's like everything. The Viscous Nasal Glue. There's actually so many different things that he's really going to be dispelling off.
You can definitely see what they're going for here. And regards to the Aghanims, Amar, he's also got his done. And now OG, they will be the ones to start to try and look for an opportunity to fight. Of course, Roshan's back up.
It's another like triple timing that they have. Sure, they have like 4,000 gold on Uragi, but Arcane Blink was done, Ag's done on Mars, like you said, and also the Willow has, I believe, a Yule Scepter too. So a couple different timings that they're trying to take advantage of. Aster seems to know something's up, though. Look at Monet's positioning.
They're ready on the high ground, Aster.
They see him.
Do they want to commit for Monet? Spear won't connect. Catch him in the brambles, but they will hold back on the Fear for now to decide. Baboka toss back on Uragi. Midnight Pulse drop down as well. Chu offering up the heals, so Uragi's fine. Aster, they'll back off. Neither team able to quite bite in as they wish to in this fight.
That was a lot of abilities he dispelled, though. 74 bonus strength on the Bristle at the moment.
And now Aster, after sort of seeing OG reveal their hand to them,
they're ready for fight.
Of course, both teams, you know, yet to expend an ultimate in this engagement, so everything's still ready to go. It's all about who gets the jump.
Could be one team fight to kind of decide the entire game, really.
Yeah, both of these teams, they've had their games where they've entered into team fights. They've all survived. The enemy has been completely destroyed.
They have vision right now. Baboka, he's thinking about it.
Do they want to head up into the high ground? He does. Baboka, he's going to look for the leading. Gets the toss back onto Amar with the BKB, and they're really damage up against the forward. The PQ, and it's falling on the Fears coming out. PQ taken down. XXS, a bit of time more with the shallow break, but he still goes out. 2 dead on Aster. They've got to run. Monet incredibly low. Ori trying to hold the back. The spear from Amar. This time it gets the kill. Takes the Monet. Has 3 dead on Aster.
Oh, big mistake from it. They didn't get the BKB off on XXS. I thought he was just going to BKB Black Hole on top of the Mars, but a big mistake coming out, and OG heavily capitalized. Amar gets a free initiation.
I mean,
he's like, I don't need Blink Dagger if you're going to toss me in.
I think he was over the moon with that toss there.
Oh, boy.
Gets him put right into the middle of it all. They put pretty much catching the 4 of them in the team fight. They'll secure Roshan. Once again, Yuragi's got that Aegis, and now thanks to that team fight and that series of events at an 11,000 lead, we're seeing the toss back, but he said XXS just wasn't ready to go.
He didn't get the, yeah, he just didn't BKB. I guess he just really wanted to try to get a secondary target or something, but yeah, then we see everything, right? It's a free initiation for Amar and BZM. He's on the cliff, but he gets a good fear off anyway.
And of course, this is sort of the thing at this stage of the game, right, for Monet. He has got a lot of value to his hero. You know, he's pretty farm, but especially when the BKB is out, in terms of damage that he can do to a target, it's not that huge coming out from a troll as a hero at this stage.
I mean, they didn't have 2 heroes in that fight, literally. Like, the Enigma and Dazzle, everyone died before they got anything off, pretty much. So, a disaster for Aster as OG start to run away with this game.
Yeah, huge lead now, 11,000 gold, and the ability to play around this Aegis to look to push for more. Or maybe not, because we've seen, you know, both teams have been taking it very carefully. And honestly, the patience in that situation paid out the most for OG. You know, they were the ones who were able to sort of draw the attention back up to their own high ground.
Oh my god.
Well, that was, he nearly ended up right by BZM.
Oh,
BZM's still going to find it, but the BKB's there. Or he pops the BKB, blink up, and a TP out will get him out of there.
Oh my god. That was close.
Living on the edge, and you know, BZM having his number.
And BZM now gets another amazing talent for the Shadow Fiend when you do this build. The fear is actually crazy how much it does apply with the Arcane Blink, since it does amplify it. So it's why it's like 5+ seconds of fear that it catches on most of the heroes. It's actually very difficult to play these saving heroes, as we were prefacing before for the Dazzle. PQ has his work come out for him. And now 10k advantage. OG, 3 minutes where they can dominate the map with this Aegis.
Yeah, and Yuragi can just go away once. I don't even know if they can kill him the once. He's massive at this stage, and having the backup of Chu, we're seeing how much sort of strengths and buffs that he can pass over towards the Bristle. It just feels like he's untouchable at this stage. You know, 19,000, nearly 20k net worth, 31 minutes in. Yuragi, he's having a great time on this final pick for OG.
And with Chu having such an early Blink Dagger, he always has the position he can get Heavenly Grace off, and there's so many things. Also that he's dispelling and just buffing this Bristle up. It's usually like 60+ strength in most situations.
Baboka, a bit of a toss back onto Yuragi. And already Baboka looks to be paying the price, and Shallow Grave gets him a minute. It's a 4-man! Beautiful black hole! It's got the 4 of them already in position for the 4-man Sonic Wave! 3 down, the Aegis taken out of the hands of Yuragi's OG! They fight too close to the base! Monet's in with the ultimate, will get pinned back to the wall of the arena by Amar with the spear. OG, they've got to be careful how they continue this fight. Chu is trying to stay alive as Ori will focus him. Quick reset as Ori blinks back, BKB's up for Boga, in with the toss back, gets Monet in position here, and that's going to be him out of the game. Yuragi dead for 70 seconds. As Aster only losing Baboka, who brought back, and it was a huge buyback, him coming back in, tossing Yuragi over into the hands of Monet, means that Aster get a huge fight on this defense. And of course, the way it started, XXS might not have been able to get his black hole off at the fight around the Roshan pit, but it couldn't have been any better.
He gets the Midnight Pulse down before it, like resets back, waits for all 4 to cluster perfectly. Aster still showing that they have some fight in this game.
We'll see it once more. Now OG, they are a team that tends to do this. They do like to go for the dives, you know, fighting up by this tier 3, and it's sort of just a lapse of judgment there, not respecting the power of the Enigma.
Especially in these like cluttered kind of areas when you're pushing onto high ground. XXS now going to be building toward that refresher, so 8k lead for OG, but still breaking high ground, something they do have to respect.
And we saw here, you know, Baboka came in with the buyback, and that buyback enabling them to make sure that Yuragi was also picked up as well towards the end of the fight.
Yeah, those long duration team fights, you see how good they can actually be for Aster with the Dazzles minus armor building up and everything too. Monet, a big winner in the fight, 2nd in net worth now. showing that he definitely can stand toe-to-toe versus that Bristleback, especially if he's able to get Satanic. You could totally see this game completely flipping.
Yeah, if he's able to pop that active, he'll be able to live throughout a great duration of the fight, especially if PQ's able to sit back and continue to pop out the heals. Obviously with that fight as well, XXS, the gold that he was able to build up, he's very close to having the refresher for the next situation, and close to that level 18 on top of it as well.
OG's going to have to do some kind of crazy initiations in some situations for breaking high ground, or just try to find this Enigma as game progresses. 10k lead still for them, but yeah, you still always, breaking high ground is always going to be this extra problem. As level 20 is hit also for the Troll, Monet, soon to perhaps surpass Yuragi.
All down to that defense. Well, one of the best sort of defenses against an Aegis push we've seen, really.
Yeah, and OG, they're trying to get these lanes shoved in, trying to maybe take advantage of cooldowns, but Black Hole's back up in 20 seconds, so XXS will have it available if OG tries to push the limit again. I think they might need to actually switch for Amar to get his own initiation at this point.
Sure, someone's got to try and get in, force the action before everybody's holding hands in these situations where XXS, he'll be there every time with the jump.
Because fighting outside the base without the blink can work, but fighting in the base is going to be hard.
Well, he was pushing out on his own, and of course XXS, no hesitation to drop the Black Hole to look for this kill, but they didn't actually have enough damage. Yuragi's able to walk it off. They didn't want to continue to stick around and commit, as they did know that OG was likely to have closed in and be ready to turn it around. So, if anything, quite a careful back off there from Aster. They could have stuck around maybe to try and finish him off, but likely they would have fell into a difficult fight against OG. And
they might actually be baited. XXS, he refreshes instantly. Ooh. He's got Black Hole available again. This could catch OG.
They might not be ready for this.
Let's see.
He's pushing in. We'll see them turn towards Baboka. They've got to be careful out of the group up. They might not expect the second Black Hole, and there it is.
It's three.
He's in. Gets the three. The more. He's three man. Sonic Wave pushing them back.
Oh my God.
Every core dead on OG. They weren't ready. They weren't ready for that. XXS.
It was a bait. Hit the bottom Black Hole. It was a bait. This was the real one.
It was a huge bait. They didn't waste time, energy trying to commit to kill a low Bristleback. They knew if they headed back to base, pop that refresher, OG, they weren't prepared.
And now Monet, he's got Satanic done. The game has completely changed. No Black Hole available for the next 120 seconds, so OG, when they do respawn, are going to have to hit hard, but Aster, they might even be able to break high ground here.
Here we go, down the mid. From what was an 11,000 gold lead for OG, 2 Roshans back-to-back that they were able to secure. Now just down to a 2k lead, and it's OG that's going to have to deal with Aster knocking at the base.
This Rax is...
I mean, you don't want to buy back, do you? 20 seconds, you're probably just going to have to let this one go. They'll be able to stick around through the fortification. They don't want to buy back these cores of OG, so they'll have to let at least one set fall.
They don't have anyone who can capitalize. If they do buybacks, they don't have a blink spear back. Like if they do buybacks, they don't have initiation.
That fear alone actually will save the Rax. There. It means that Aster don't actually have the opportunity to stick around before the respawns come into play. So Tiger able to minimize the damage done off the back of that last incredible fight that Aster were able to bring on the defense.
But what's the solution? Now OG has to ask themselves, what do we do? How are we going to counter XXS? Because Black Hole is going to keep coming back up, and they're eventually going to have to fight into it and have to deal with it. So, yeah, like I was mentioning, I think the blink might maybe need to get accelerated perhaps for some initiation, but Amar's not queuing it up. He's actually going AC, so we'll see how they just try to find and stop XXS.
Someone's got to deal with him.
I'm not seeing the solution. Sometimes I've seen Amar go for the Basher with his Aghanims play, I think it was, a couple of games ago, maybe a couple months ago, something like that, but yeah, Aster. It feels like even though there's that gold lead, they have control of this game now.
The only answer, really, from OG is to fight when the Black Hole's not available. So 30-second window here, where they'll look to punish, look to get some kills. They get the grab on Ori, but BKB and a jump to the side. Ori should be fine here. Baboka, he's able to turn into the setup, into the Sonic Wave again, onto the 3 of them, pushing them off to the side. The arena's been dropped by Amar. They should be able to commit and threaten Baboka, and indeed with the Goose stacking up a huge physical hit from the God's Rebuke. They'll take him down. BZM in position, but the BKB's out from Monet. Pops the BKB, walks it off. It'll just be the 2 supports here dying for either side. Baboka for Tiger.
OG's got to run now.
They have. They tried to pick this fight whilst the Black Hole threat wasn't there, but that window, it has closed. Double Black Hole ready to go again from XXS.
Aster definitely keen to fight as well too. PQ with the gem, clearing out all the wards in the area. The gem is actually Choose from the earlier push when they went for the high ground.
Radiant's top tower.
A fantastic game so far. 11-13.
It's so close still. It's so much pressure really on OG just because of this Enigma, though.
It really is.
XXS just on point.
We may just be seeing, one of the reasons why Aster, not really a team you want to sort of give the luxury of getting a last pick Enigma through the draft.
Exactly. And they did early, like they started their draft with their Tiny. This is their traditional combo they've gone for over and over and over again. Yeah, they're smoking. They want the fight. They know they're stronger.
Maybe a bit of an answer there. They have the Hex done on
so
BZM.
Maybe he can be that initiator
Maybe
instead.
he can.
Let's see. If they don't kill XXS at the start of the fight, I don't see them having a chance.
This could be the difference maker. If BZM can find that jump, get that Hex off, buy that time for OG to start the fight, and force it in a way where the chaoticness may make it just that bit too difficult for XXS to find the opportunity.
Let's see. Aster sticking as a unit.
Definitely much the waiting game for Aster. They're more than happy to be the ones that OG walk into, as long as XXS isn't the one to tank the jump.
Yeah, it's really going to be all about next for Ocean, looking at buybacks. So taking a look at these right now, I think Amar, he's been holding his for a while, so he was hanging on to like 4,000 gold. So trying to have as many buybacks as possible versus those big, those big team fight plays is usually the ideal. As Aster trying to get a wrap around here.
OG's also smoked up. Everybody apart from Amar.
It's a pretty huge
Amar himself will have the Invis. May even give him a chance to catch them by surprise.
And BZM also has an Arcane rune, so some pretty powerful runes they do have for this fight.
Aster's got the high ground.
They found Chu.
They'll see Chu, but a quick blink from Chu gets him away from the combo of Provoker. They know that Aster's trying to make the jump on them now. As OG, they'll charge back into their jungle, pushing Aster back. As there's the jump back, says he's in. Black Hole this time round, only catching onto Yuragi. See if it's going to be enough to get the kill. Second Black Hole ready to go. This time catching Yuragi and Amar.
He's dying,
but it's not enough damage. This time OG, they survive the threat of the Enigma, and they're ready to clean up the kill. Bring it down from Amar. They'll focus towards Monet. PQ trying to keep him alive in the grave, but there's no saving the troll. As he'll fall, PQ chased down. OG, they're able to find the fight.
And respawn on Roche. This could just be their window to end the game. Oh my god, they actually somehow reclaimed the high ground during the fight. They forced Aster to low ground, and from that point, XXS, it looked like he almost felt forced to go for these black holes, but I think on top of the backbeat turn, I think Amar maybe had the bulwark. I didn't see, but something was doing a ton of damage to the Enigma during
I think
that
it may
black
have been.
hole.
And now the push coming in. Buybacks are available from Aster, but of course it will be without the two black holes.
They're going to knock on tier 4s. There's no black holes. They just need to watch out for tossback plays.
I mean, they're going to have to use the buybacks. PQ and Monet buying back into the action. We'll see if the four of them can hold back OG as indeed with the push they've got, they're right click building up for Yuragi. The Aghanims of Amar, they're beating down with the tier 4s. They'll force out the fortification.
They're continuing though.
Here's the jump for Mocha. They'll try and get the toss back. The Hex there from BZM. BZM jumps in quick with the Arcane Link of the Red Flame. That's Mocha out of the game. Aster held back in the fountain. The Ancient exposed. OG, they're looking to close it. They might be having to take it to a final way, but Ori, good angle from the side. Close the back to the side. Wait, Monet. He's in on top of Yuragi. Yuragi getting back. Yuragi in trouble. He's trying with the big game. He's outside. Yuragi's alive. Chu keeps him safe and sound. As he'll back off. Ori still continues trying to clean up with the bar. The arena's back up. Yuragi's got to be careful. Incredibly low, but he's ready to turn the bottom of the grave. No, Ori, another kill. He's picking them off one by one. Ori looks towards Chu. Ultra kill for the Queen of Pain as Aster. They're holding. OG, they're throwing the buybacks into this fight. But I'm going to think and save Amar. He's trying to step back up the fear over towards Monet. Amar will live.
He's still alive.
He's back up to full HP. Ori, he's got his eyes, his heart set on the rampage, and he may just get it. Amar, he's been left behind. Ori's dead. We'll give him a pseudo rampage for that
counts. Holy moly,
That's
what
so
a
many
hold.
buybacks. OG, that was 4 buybacks.
That was versus the 0 black holes as well. They couldn't end it.
And
They
now,
will get the Roche. But oh my god, next fight now there will be that double
there will
black
be
hole.
12 seconds until the initial black hole, 30 seconds until refresher. And that is terrifying for a team that doesn't have buybacks to fall back on.
Somehow Ori, like in this fight, there's just so many like distractions. Ori's just doing, look how much damage he did. He did 12,000 damage in that fight.
I mean, we've seen sort of the setup from XXS, but even in that fight where the sort of huge AoE team fight control wasn't in play, he's just hitting multiple, at least 3 heroes minimum every single time with every Sonic Wave.
And they had the control too in particular, right? Yuragi, he got stuck facing the Troll Warlord because of the bashes, which just allowed Ori to kind of go to town in the back line. Oh
Smoke
my
from
God,
OG.
this is a crazy game
They're going
right
to look
now.
for a huge play here around the Aegis and the cheese, but it could be their last. If they die, no buybacks, it will be game over. It's a risk to be taken, but of course the buybacks that are on cooldown for Aster, they're also the big ones. Monet and Ori, they don't have buybacks available. They kill. You know, whichever team loses the two main cores, it's going to be game over.
Yeah, Glyph on cooldown as well. Aghanims goes to BZM. Level 25 also acquired.
Radiant
But XXS, he's ready.
That's eyes on him. And will he die during the black hole this time also?
It's been a lot of physical damage that he does have to deal with even when he grabs them.
His damage is also crazy though too, because I think he did finish up the Aghanim Scepter, so even more damage that's going to be kicking off. I think this will probably kill them fast enough before he dies this time around, but yeah, we'll see, because they do have the cheese, they have the satanic, all this tankiness, and the Chew, of course. Chew, time and time again, getting these saves.
Yeah. And it really is easy time for you on this.
Yeah.
One of the answers that may just give you the chance to survive through these incredibly destructive combos that XXS is throwing at you.
Near level 25 on Monet. He's got it. That can be a pretty big one too. I mean, he's always going to be able to survive in any initiation that OG does go for. And Amar, he did go for Blink Dagger finally. So they do have a form of initiation besides his BZM blinking him with Hex.
He's got that fully on disc himself. So multiple heroes getting close to having the abilities to survive through the jump if Aster does catch them.
Aster though, feeling the pressure of that lack of buybacks versus this Aegis, giving the respect, staying in their base for now.
See how much OG want to try and push it around this Aegis.
This is still like, I'm sweating right now. This is such a close game. Anybody can take it at this point.
OG's ready to reveal themselves. Up to the high ground they go. Yuragi pushing forward. 2 minutes left on the Aegis to look for this fight with. Ancient exposed. Who's going to start? Who's going to make the first move? It's Maboka. Look at the toss back onto Yuragi. Big damage there.
Holy.
Like the bristle falls so quickly. Dandy just got an extra
Solo
set.
black hole.
He'll drop the black hole. He wants the lockdown of Archu. Will throw in the heels from the side. Refreshing pot. But then